So we are almost done with my friend's little garden project, and I brought some mulch that had been in an area in my yard where I am sort of fostering worm activity. It's not exactly a vermiculture system or a worm bin exactly, but it's an area where I know that there was worms there, and so I've just sort of added organic material there so that it would continue to grow and develop and birth new worms. So I took some of that mulch and I'm going to be putting that as a topper on the soil, because one of the best ways to revitalize old soil, and a good chunk of the soil is last year's soil, between the fertilizer and then inoculating it with worms, we're going to get a really good organic mix, nutrient mix, biodynamic diversity of soil going on in here. There's a lot of organic material in her soil already. From last year that didn't get used up. Little wood pieces, leaf litter that's fallen from whatever. So adding the mulch that's full of what I know was worms, because when I dug it up out of my garden, or out of my yard, I saw them in there. Hopefully we're gonna get a lot of little worm eggs, and pretty soon this will be full, her bins will be full of worms. Having worms in your garden, intentionally putting worms there, whether it's a raised bed garden, whether it's a container garden, or whether it's a regular just in the ground garden, enhances your plant's ability to uptake nutrient. Worm poop is the most perfectly balanced, perfectly nutritive substance on planet Earth. And so as they go in and they eat the dead material, they only eat dead material, by the way, they will not eat your live roots. As they go in and they eat the dead material and they poop out that material, in their body, they have turned it into perfectly bioavailable fertilizer for your soil. So I'm going to just show you a little bit about how I'm going to do this. You may not be able to see the worms as I'm doing this, but I know that they're in there. And so I'm just going to take some of this soil with my hands, and I'm just going to, and this looks like dirt because it's really well composted. And I'm going to avoid these little guys. I'm going to leave her some soil to put them around the little guys later. But I'm just putting this kind of around there. The hope is we'll get some worms and or some worm eggs, and we'll be able to inoculate these little totes here. Her little raised beds, kind of a combination. Her little garden is a combination between a raised bed garden and a container garden. So I'm leaving these little guys open because they're really too little to be putting all this other stuff around. So I'm gonna leave her a bin. And that's pretty much it. We're just sort of protecting that soil that we just put in here with some mulch, inoculating this soil with the worms, and hopefully that will leave her some good moisture control, worm inoculation, some good bioavailable worm poop. That's what we're looking for. All right, and we'll finish up the rest of the bins. And there you go.